Isabella exhaled gently as the late autumn sunset streamed through the bedroom window of her cozy Austin apartment. 5 framed reminders hung on her wall, a shot of her and Jack, her boyfriend of 5 years at last summer's trip to Yellowstone. A sprig of baby's breath wrapped in old newspaper perched on the windowsill, and the sparkling engagement ring nestled in its wooden box. Each one whispered of a promise their wedding would forever bear the name Isabella and Jack, and usher in a new chapter of unbridled joy. The moment she said yes, Jack had knelt beneath the ancient oak at Zilker Park, the very grounds where they'd shared their first date under the stars. Her heart had soared. The ring itself was simple in design, yet profound in symbolism. 5 years of shared laughter and tears, weekends spent bouncing between Jack's software engineering deadlines and Isabella's whirlwind marketing campaigns. They'd cried together over impossible deadlines, then rejoiced in triumph when their savings dwindled after an impromptu backyard barbecue with friends. They dove into wedding plans immediately. A vineyard on a hilltop in the Texas Hill Country was reserved for October 14th, when amber leaves drifted like confetti and rolling hills glowed crimson. Emily, Isabella's college friend turned photographer, pored over concept shots, a wildflower arch, a farmhouse table draped in linen bistro lights, strung between ancient oaks. Everything seemed destined for perfection, from the gold-foiled invitations emblazoned with Isabella and Jack, to a menu featuring sourdough baguettes, peppery arugula salad, and a bottle of Syrah to seal the evening. But this wedding represented more than a ceremony. It was a declaration of love and a fusion of 2 families. Isabella's parents, the Martinez family, brimmed with excitement, so much so they planned a traditional Mexican reception 2 days later, complete with salsa mariachi and steaming tamales. On Jack's side, his father insisted, "Don't forget to film your vows. 20 years from now, you'll want to relive that moment." Anticipation rippled through both clans' cousins, old friends, every familiar face who had witnessed their journey. At Isabella's marketing firm, she was known as the creative spark, conjuring fresh campaigns out of thin air. When she announced her engagement, heartwarming messages poured in. One colleague handcrafted a note reading, "Isabella, you deserve all the love and celebration in the world. Here's to your fairy tale day." Yet behind her radiant smile, a sliver of apprehension lingered. Isabella had long played peacemaker in her family, stepping in when her older sister Elena clashed with their mother or postponing deadlines to drive her sick aunt to appointments. Now, as a bride-to-be, she felt the weight of balancing expectations and soothing potential family friction, even amid dreamlike festivities. One Sunday afternoon, while double-checking the guest list, Isabella's phone buzzed. It was Jack calling on video. His face glistened with sweat from his side gig building custom bicycles, a passion project outside his software job. Feeling nervous, he asked in his warm baritone. Isabella smiled. "A little. It's our first wedding with everyone watching." He tapped the screen affectionately. "I've got you. We'll face it together." His reassurance melted away her fear. Later that evening, Isabella opened the first invitation from her future mother-in-law, a navy blue card dusted with silver glitter inviting her to a hair brunch, a pre-wedding makeup and styling gathering for brides and bridesmaids, the Saturday before the big day. A wave of warmth and a touch of awe washed over her. Every detail was meticulously arranged, as if safeguarding her special moment. In that instant, Isabella realized that beneath the gleaming veneer of joy lay duties to nurture family bonds and shoulder unspoken expectations. She closed her eyes, remembering the day she first met Jack in the Roaster Cafe when he accidentally spilled coffee on her laptop. They laughed, cleaned up the mess together, and chatted until dusk. That absurd mishap had become the thread leading to this impending celebration. And yet, just as preparations seemed flawless, a hidden scheme woven over years lurched toward the surface, threatening to shatter Isabella's sweetest dream. The next morning, despite the gentle sunlight filtering through the leaves, Isabella felt anything but calm. She sat at her kitchen table, cradling a steaming cup of coffee as her mind swirled with uneasy thoughts. A new email from the wedding planner's office had just pinged. "We have an update on guest invitations. Please review the attached list." Isabella clicked open the document and froze at one name, Sarah Martinez. Her heart lurched. How could Sarah possibly be on this list after 9 years of silence? Her pulse raced as she dialed Emily, her photographer-turned-wedding planner, to clarify. Emily's voice wobbled with concern. "I forwarded this list at the Roberts' request. I think Jack's mother called after the hair brunch yesterday." Isabella's voice quivered. "Jack's mother. She can't be inviting my sister." Her throat tightened. "I'll get to the bottom of it. Try not to worry," Emily reassured her. But the seed of anxiety was planted deep in Isabella's chest. All morning she tried to immerse herself in drafting a marketing campaign pitch, yet every sentence felt hollow. Her co-workers noticed a forced smile, but none suspected the turmoil beneath. At 11 a.m., Isabella summoned the courage to call her own mother, Mrs. Martinez. "Mom, I need to know, did you invite Sarah to the wedding?" Her mother paused, then sighed. "Sweetheart, I know your history is complicated, but Mrs. Roberts believes it's time to mend family ties. She thinks Sarah should be invited." Isabella's voice trembled. "But I never gave her a chance." Mrs. Martinez admonished gently, "Darling, this wedding isn't just yours and Jack's. It's a chance for both families to come together. Please reflect on that." Isabella ended the call feeling more isolated than ever. Later that afternoon, she met Jack at the little bookstore cafe by the lake. He greeted her with a bouquet of wildflowers. "I heard from Emily about your sister." Jack began softly, his eyes heavy with empathy. Isabella exhaled. "Jack, my mom is on board with inviting Sarah. I'm terrified." He squeezed her hand. "Imagine the last time you waved at someone who turned away. How did that feel?" She fell silent. Jack's voice was gentle. "If you need time, we can hold off on mailing invites or add a note, RSVP required by date." That suggestion brought a small smile to her lips. "You always know how to calm me," she whispered. Yet back at her apartment, Isabella discovered another surprise. A sleek card without a return address lay waiting on her nightstand. Embossed in gold foil was Sarah Martinez. Hands trembling, she opened it to reveal a pre-printed invitation. "Isabella, I hope you'll honor me by attending my big day too. Sarah." The clumsy script felt more like a challenge than an olive branch. Tears pricked her eyes. This was no earnest apology, it was a dare. "Do you dare let me back in?" A cold weight settled over her. Memories of childhood torment swelled Sarah's outburst at the ice cream shop, the midnight art tantrum, the rivalry over every achievement. Each humiliating moment resurfaced, reminding Isabella why she'd built walls around her heart. Clutching the invitation, she video-called Jack. On screen, his warm face offered comfort. "How are you holding up, Isabella?" Hid the card behind her back and asked, voice tight, "If Sarah shows up, can I stay composed?" Jack looked down, then locked eyes with her. "I promise if you need to leave the aisle when she appears, I'll take your hand and we'll walk right out." His unwavering vow was the balm she needed. Turning to her vanity mirror, Isabella studied the reflection of the bride-to-be, determined eyes, lips set in resolve. She thought, "No one will steal this moment from me." Taking a deep breath, She drafted a swift email to Emily. Please do not mail any invitations to Sarah Martinez. Any change regarding her attendance must come directly to me. The message sent Isabella finally felt a measure of relief. For the first time in weeks, she sensed her own agency. She wasn't just a bride lost in wedding logistics. She was the guardian of her own life's narrative. Though storms might lie ahead, she was ready to face them. Isabella had never forgotten the turbulent childhood she shared with her younger sister Mia. 3 years Isabella's junior Mia was driven by an unrelenting hunger to outshine her big sister in every conceivable way: academics' appearance and their parents' affection. The memory of standing on the podium for the weekly Star Student Award at Riverside Elementary still stung. Mia threw an epic tantrum, snatched the plaque from Isabella's trembling hands, and demanded the recognition for herself. While their parents comforted a sobbing Mia, Isabella only held her certificate, eyes brimming with tears. She refused to cry aloud. Every family celebration felt like a trap. After Isabella won a children's art contest, Mia insisted on unveiling her own sketches right at the dinner table. As all eyes turned to Mia's work, Isabella shrank back into the corner, burned by an embarrassment only a sister could inflict. That moment when she realized she was the victim in her own home would forever mark her heart. Adolescence offered no respite. When Isabella joined the high school basketball team, she expected camaraderie, not rivalry. Mia arrived at the first practice wearing an identical uniform, shouting, "I love basketball too." She pushed herself harder than anyone, ensuring that whenever Isabella scored, Mia's screaming uproar drowned out her sister's achievement. From that day on, Isabella avoided Mia's company, craving a sliver of peace. Their parents tried family therapy, but Mia sat silent, arms crossed, refusing to engage. The therapist warned without Mia's cooperation, there was little hope for reconciliation. Isabella felt more alone than ever, a child whose only crime was being herself. At 15, a crushing betrayal occurred. Mia borrowed Isabella's treasured baking journal, the one her grandmother had gifted her, and entered a youth cooking contest using its recipes. To Isabella's fury and heartbreak, Mia claimed first prize, leaving Isabella with a patronizing niece try award. That humiliation drove Isabella inward. She traded arguments for solitude, finding solace in books and diary entries instead of competing with her sister. Entering college, Isabella hoped for a fresh start, but Mia, now 19, staged her next maneuver. On the day Isabella was awarded a marketing scholarship at the University of Texas at Austin, Mia submitted her own application to the same program and received a full-ride scholarship. Worse yet, Mia threw a private celebration for her success without inviting Isabella. This public slight was the final straw. Overwhelmed, Isabella severed ties, completely new phone number, different internship, no family gatherings where Mia might appear. Their parents pleaded for forgiveness, but Isabella stood firm. "I can't endure another betrayal." She poured herself into her studies, building friendships and professional skills. Mia became a ghost in her mind, a haunting echo she refused to exorcise even when life seemed brighter. Years passed. Isabella blossomed into a successful advertising specialist and found love with Jack. She believed the past was buried. Yet whenever she revisited her old diary, childhood wounds flared up, reminding her the debt of forgiveness was unpaid. Whenever Jack asked about her family, she offered only, "I have a sister, but we're not close." Fear held her back from sharing the truth that Mia's relentless envy had scarred her deeply. Those memories lurked beneath the surface, waiting for even the smallest spark, a social media post about sibling rivalry or a passing comment about family competition. Then came wedding preparations. When Emily casually mentioned Mia's guest accommodations, reality hit. Isabella, like a punch, her past was not gone. It threatened to resurface in the form of her enigmatic sister. The anxiety of Mia re-entering her life to rekindle old rivalries eclipsed any other pre-wedding jitters. In that moment, Isabella realized her most critical guest list wasn't just names on invitations, it was the boundaries she would enforce within her heart. She reminded herself, I have Jack who stands by me. I have a right to protect my peace. From that point on, the decision of whether Mia would attend became the defining battleground for Isabella's future happiness. The winter sunrise danced across the plate glass windows of InnovateX's lobby, where Isabella, who now went by Bella, had just completed her final round interview. She took a deep breath, her fingers nervously tracing the edge of a faux wedding band gifted by a friend for luck. The product strategy lead position was a milestone she'd chased relentlessly for 2 years, the countless after-hours meetings, the dawn-to-dusk slide decks, the string of successful digital campaigns. It wasn't merely a job, it was proof of her reinvention after the heartbreak of a collapsed marriage. Just minutes later, the HR department pinged her with the long-awaited news, "Congratulations, Bella, you've cleared the final stage. Our CEO is extremely impressed." She fell into a gasp of joy. Simultaneously, a video call from Jack popped up, his eyes shining. "I heard the news. I'm so proud of you." Bella forced herself to smile. Her heart still thundered in her chest. "Thank you." "Let's celebrate tonight," she managed. The next morning, Bella shared the good news with the Roberts family. Their elation rippled through relatives far and wide. Jack's mother reminded Bella to film the offer letter opening so they could laugh about it years later. But beneath the flood of congratulations, a sinister shadow lurked. Less than 72 hours later, another message arrived from InnovateX. "Please note, your background check is on hold, pending further inquiry. We will update you within 24 hours. Bella's world spun. She called HR immediately. "What's happening?" "I got the offer just days ago." The HR rep's voice was tight. "We received several emails alleging inappropriate conduct along with screenshots from social media. Please allow us 1 business day to investigate." Panic rose in Bella's throat. She scoured her inbox. No warning had come. Though she once shared a critical post about a past software glitch, she deleted it the moment it landed. Who could have fabricated anonymous accounts, penned malign articles in her name, screenshot them, and sent them to InnovateX? Only one person knew her history, that intimately Mia, her sister who'd once haunted her dreams. Memories flooded back. Mia, familiar with Bella's LinkedIn profile, her Facebook photos. Bella realized Mia had quietly nurtured a vendetta for 9 years. Mia's envy had mutated into a digital weapon. Anger flared, but Bella forced herself calm. She needed facts. She slipped across the street to the cafe where she often worked remotely. Over a latte, she drafted a thorough email to HR, timelines of her social postings, screenshots of her own archived posts, testimonies from colleagues, denying she ever wrote the slanderous content. She hit send, then stared at the skyscrapers looming like silent judges. The next 24 hours were sleepless. Bella painstakingly combed through every browser history entry, every chat log backing up proof she never authored the offending messages. Yet the gnawing fear persisted. No matter how secure I am, someone who knows me could ruin me with a few keystrokes. On day 2, HR called back. The tone was formal. "We can confirm the offending emails and accounts were fabricated. Your offer stands." Relief crashed over Bella like a wave. Tears brimmed her first tears of victory. Jack's next video call found her eyes red but triumphant. "Are you okay?" he whispered. Bella nodded. "I'm okay." I fought back. But this victory transcended the restored offer. It was a repudiation of a years-long covert assault by Mia, who'd weaponized digital anonymity to strike from the shadows. Bella recognized that in the social era, a single click could brutally derail a career. Amid the celebration, Bella resolved on a bold move. She would sue for defamation and misuse of her personal data. She contacted an attorney, compiled IP logs, preserved email headers, and lined up witnesses. In her mind, she vowed, without legal consequences, trolls and saboteurs roam free. Soon, InnovateX's legal office transmitted a formal cease and desist letter to Mia Martinez, now residing in Denver studying graphic design. Served with court papers, Mia found herself on the wrong side of the law. This decisive action not only vindicated Bella, but sent a warning to all invisible saboteurs: anonymity is no shield against accountability. Riding the wave of her legal victory, Bella assumed the storm had passed. Yet upon returning to her desk, she found another email waiting: reevaluation of leadership role requested, peppered with vague remarks from the executive board. This time, the allegations weren't anonymous. Someone cited her potential distraction due to personal entanglements. Bella realized with a sinking heart that Mia had resorted to more subtle sabotage whisper campaigns among industry contacts, insinuating Bella was overly sensitive and unreliable. This indirect attack cut deep. Bella proactively requested a meeting with InnovateX's Chief Product Officer, Mr. Harris, who had conducted her final interview. In his bright corner office, Bella laid out the full saga: the bogus emails, the HR inquiry, the cease and desist letter. She presented digital logs, original email headers, and colleague affidavits. Mr. Harris listened intently before nodding. "I believe you. These claims are baseless and dangerous." With her reputation intact before top leadership, Bella breathed a fleeting sigh of relief, yet the pressure lingered like static on the line. Late one evening, while finalizing quarterly projections, Bella received an anonymous Slack message. "We're watching your performance. Prove you belong. No name attached." The cold text stabbed at her confidence. Had Mia hacked into internal channels? Bella shut down her laptop and walked to the silent parking garage. The darkness swallowed her, but this time she stood her ground. She thought of her journey from a timid child at Riverside Elementary to a legal plaintiff against her sister to a rising product leader. Each trial had honed her resilience. She dialed Jack. "Remember your promise? We face this together." His voice crackled through, "Always." The next morning, Bella penned a thoughtful Medium post under the pseudonym May Martinez, recounting her corporate ghost tale and how she overcame it. The essay, carefully redacted, resonated within industry circles, amassing hundreds of shares. While she never named Mia explicitly, the message was clear: don't let hidden saboteurs derail your career. Support for Bella swelled internally. By month's end, InnovateX hosted a company-wide town hall reaffirming values of transparency, fairness, and supporting employees who stood up for themselves. Bella was invited on stage to recount her story, from the offer letter triumph to the lawsuit, from emotional turmoil to legal triumph. Under the spotlight, her chest swelled with quiet pride. Bella's experience became more than a tech industry anecdote. It was a testament to the power of public accountability, legal recourse, and community support. Mia might have tried to rain on her parade indefinitely, but she could not extinguish Bella's flame. Closing her remarks, Bella left the audience with this charge: if you suspect wrongdoing, don't stay silent. Gather evidence, seek justice, and trust that integrity will prevail. The warm amber glow from the Chelsea House living room lights spilled across the polished oak coffee table, illuminating Isabella's taut expression. She and Jack, now engaged, stood before their meticulously organized guest list. From the very beginning of their courtship, Isabella had felt Jack's empathy, but suddenly the man who vowed "I'll stand by you" seemed distant whenever her sister Mia's name surfaced. Though Lily, the fiancée in the original tale, never stepped into this conflict here, she was recast as the first person testing Isabella's boundaries and values. It all began after a cozy dinner at Jack's family home when Mrs. Roberts, his mother, encouraged Lily to extend an olive branch to Mia. Over dessert, Mrs. Roberts advised, "She is family. Give her a chance." Lily, sincere-eyed, turned to Jack. "What if I invite Mia? Maybe she truly wants to apologize and reconcile." Isabella's refusal was resolute. That will never happen. Yet her hard no only laid bare the first crack in trust. Lily didn't grasp Isabella's limits. In the days that followed, the Mia debate became a recurring refrain. Each evening as candlelight flickered, Lily would ask quietly, "Have you reconsidered?" Isabella's reply grew terse and fatigued. "I've said my piece. It's not happening." And though her words remained firm, her voice quavered with exhaustion, and Lily's disappointment printed deeper lines on her face. One Sunday afternoon, while strolling around the neighborhood lake, Lily broached the subject again. "I think sometimes we owe our loved ones forgiveness. Otherwise, families remain frozen." Isabella halted mid-step, brimming with emotion. "Do you know what I fear? If I let Mia back in, I will be betrayed again. I've fought too hard to rebuild my life after that blow." Lily squeezed her hand, sighing. "I get that, but trust is a foundation. You can't build a castle on an unstable base. You still have to live." That night, sleep evaded Isabella. She replayed their first meeting, Lily's bright smile when she spoke of her cookbook collection, their shared weekend cooking experiments, the way they laughed over their first awkward date. How had Lily, who once celebrated her happiness, now stood aligned with Mrs. Roberts in urging her to forgive the very person who'd shattered her career and dreams? Isabella wondered, must love demand such sacrifices? Must she trade her own pain for the sake of family unity? Her mind swirled in a maze of conflicting desires, craving Lily's support, yet determined to safeguard her own boundaries. She realized trust could not be coerced. It must be layered brick by brick. If Lily could not respect her decision, it was the bond between them that would fracture. As tears slipped beneath her closed eyelids, Isabella resolved honest dialogue was essential, yet so was a clear boundary. The next morning, as Isabella prepared for work, the wedding invitation Isabella and Jack lay on her vanity like a silent testament. Jack waited in the hallway, concern etched in his features. Steeling herself, she asked, "Can we talk tonight? It's important." He nodded, and that evening, the two sat facing each other in the dim glow of the living room lamp. "Isabella," began Jack, "I love you more than anything, but I feel you haven't been on my side when I needed you most. Your mother wants me to open my heart to Mia, and it's not that I oppose healing, but not right now." Lily's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I don't want to lose you," Jack choked out. "But you know that inviting Mia will reopen wounds I barely survived." They sat in silence, save for the ticking clock. Isabella continued, "I need you to be in my corner first. Do you understand that if I extend an invitation to Mia, I risk getting hurt again?" His voice trembled. "I understand, but I need you to see my side too. Forgiveness doesn't weaken you. It enriches love." Her voice cracked. "I can't offer forgiveness until I know you'll defend my decision." This conversation was both an avalanche and a remedy, melting away icy barriers, but also washing away any unstable ground. They then agreed on a new boundary. If Mia genuinely wanted reconciliation, she must send a handwritten apology directly to Isabella, no intermediaries. Isabella would have 48 hours to respond. Any other attempt would be deemed violation. Jack placed his hand over her heart. I promise to honor that. Forever. Still, the specter of doubt lingered. Over the weekend, Isabella sat down to compose a letter to Mia, only to tear it up time and again. She realized she wasn't ready. Instead, she penned a private journal entry addressed to Jack, sharing the raw pain hidden behind closed doors. When Jack read it, he enveloped her in an embrace. Thank you for trusting me with your wounds. As the wedding drew near, the printed invitations went out. Mia's name was nowhere to be found. Isabella watched Jack cross her sister's name off the list, and though her heart still quivered, she knew she had upheld her final boundary. They held hands and stared toward a future unshadowed by the past. Isabella understood broken trust couldn't be mended by a hasty excuse. It required time, respect, and unwavering commitment. Finally, when the soft strains of the prelude music echoed during the pre-wedding rehearsal, Isabella felt a quiet peace settle within her. She didn't know what Mia might do next, but she stood firm alongside the one person she trusted most, Jack, who would never leave her stranded in the storm of fractured loyalties. And that, she realized, was the truest lesson in love. When trust splinters, the goal isn't to sacrifice memories, but to find the one willing to guard those fragments with you. Early that fateful morning, Isabella awoke in her East Austin loft to sunlight streaming through linen curtains, yet her heart felt leaden. Everything appeared unchanged, the aroma of fresh brewed coffee, her engagement ring still glittering on her finger, and the stack of wedding invitations emblazoned Isabella and Jack, resting neatly on her desk. But in mere hours, all those memories, hopes, and vows would vanish. Jack arrived first, his shirt slightly wrinkled from a late-night business trip. He knocked and entered with a cautious smile. "Did you sleep well?" he asked softly. Isabella kept her eyes shut and shook her head. She shuffled toward the edge of the bed, avoiding his gaze. Jack sat beside her, voice hushed. "We promised to face this together." Gathering her courage, she opened her eyes and met his. "This time, I can't do it." She recounted everything, her dread of Mia's potential appearance, the pressure from both families, the countless disagreements whenever she asserted her boundaries. She spoke of Mia's spiteful email campaign, of reliving betrayal, even after triumphing in the Innovate X debacle. Each word felt like a dagger twisting in his heart. Jack grabbed her hands. "I know I was wrong not to side with you." A single tear traced down Isabella's cheek. "I've endured too much. I don't have the strength to reconcile again." Together, they made their way to Memory's photo studio, the very spot where they'd shot their first couple portrait. The framed images on the walls showed her in a denim dress, him embracing her with eyes closed in joy. Now that photo mocked the future they once envisioned. Isabella stared into empty space. "I want to call off the wedding. Everything ends here." Jack sank onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. I'm sorry. But are you sure?" She nodded resolutely. "Yes. I can't invest hope in a future I fear will be dissected and betrayed." Her decision was not spontaneous. In the days prior, Isabella had weighed every scenario, postponing the ceremony, downsizing the guest list, even letting Mia approach her directly. Yet she recognized that one misstep could unravel all they'd painstakingly built. Calling off the wedding was her final assertion of autonomy. She refused to become a test subject for her own anxieties. Back home, Isabella drafted a brief email to wedding planner Emily, please. Cancel all services, venue, decor, catering, and photography. I accept any penalties incurred. She hit send, heartbeat echoing in her ears. The confirmation scent blinked on screen like a tolling bell. Her new chapter had begun, one without Jack or Mia, forged by her alone in pursuit of freedom. That afternoon, neither spoke of wedding plans. Jack visited Pearl and Pastry, the bakery, where Isabella once baked treats for him, and returned with 2 mini apple pies. He placed them on her coffee table. I remembered you love baked apples. Isabella offered a weary smile. Thank you. They sat together as mellow jazz drifted through the speakers, but neither dared break the hush. Earlier that day, Isabella had broken the news to both families. The Martinez parents responded cautiously. Are you sure I dreamed of that traditional Mexican reception? Isabella stood firm. I know what it meant to you, but I have to protect my own happiness. Over at the Roberts household, Jack's mother choked out, Dear, don't rush. Give the marriage a chance. Isabella simply nodded. The vision of future daughter-in-law she once embodied had faded. That evening, Jack found her in the kitchen. Can I get you something to drink? He asked softly. Isabella shook her head, eyes distant. Jack inhaled. Maybe there's a future for us still, but you deserve peace first. His words soothed her wounds, yet reminded her of the core problem. The wedding was the battleground. Every thought of Mia's looming presence stung. 2 weeks later, Emily confirmed the cancellations. 30% of the contract fees had been charged to Isabella's credit card. Viewing the hefty invoice, Isabella exhaled. So this is the cost of a decision. Jack placed a hand on her shoulder. You did what was right. She nodded, moisture gathering in her eyes. Right for me, isn't it? He embraced her always. Although the ceremony was off, Isabella refused to turn away. She cleared her apartment of wedding detritus vases, ribbons, the Mr. and Mrs. Roberts sign, packing each item into a large box. The final piece sealed away beneath the staircase. She stepped outside, feeling unexpectedly light. In the days that followed, Isabella laced up her running shoes each dawn and logged gentle miles, breathing in crisp morning air. Each evening, she resumed a nightly meditation and wrote in her gratitude journal friends' career wins and Jack, who remained at her side even without a wedding. Each entry was a fresh spark, a step further from old wounds. A week later, Jack called with a proposition. Would you like to check out that art exhibit with me? He asked. Isabella paused, then smiled. You always know how to lift my spirits. And they set off together, leaving behind the charred remnants of wedding invitations and making space for a new journey, one of healing, unconditional love and quiet beginnings. They say, when you make a declaration, the world replies immediately. Isabella, now going by Bella, experienced this with overwhelming force. No sooner had she hit send on her wedding cancellation email than her phone exploded with messages, texts, calls, and voicemails flooded in from family and friends on both sides. 1. The Martinez family's reactions, her mother. Mrs. Martinez left a trembling voicemail. Sweetheart, I'm sorry I pressured you. I know you're exhausted, but I still hope you'll reconsider. She followed up with a video call, tearfully begging, please keep the family together. Bella felt her chest tighten. She understood her mom's sorrow over a dream wedding lost, yet knew that protecting herself sometimes comes at a painful price. Her father, Mr. Martinez, adopted a gentler but firm tone. I respect your decision, but I worry you'll regret this. He urged her to take time and fully heal before making irreversible choices. Bella texted back, Dad, I've already healed. Now I need to live truthfully. 2. The Roberts family's reactions. Mrs. Roberts Jack's mother phoned with earnest reproach. "Lily, oh sorry. Bella shouldn't rush to judgment. Our family never opposed reconciliation." Each of her words, though well-intentioned, tightened the invisible bonds around Bella's autonomy. Mr. Roberts Jack's father emailed Bella a formal but sorrowful note. "We admire your right to set boundaries, yet we mourn missing your happy day." He closed with, "You will always remain part of our family." 3. Close friends' reactions. College friends. Min, her confidant, messaged, "If you need to talk, I'm here." Video calls followed with friends reassuring Bella, "You deserve a celebration free from fear." Colleagues at InnovateX team members sent notes. "We're hosting a small offsite for stress relief. Join us." Bella realized that despite her professional confidence, emotional support was essential. 4. Online community support. When Bella shared her Medium essay, Chapter 3 link comments poured in. "Thank you for speaking out. I've been in your shoes." These messages became fuel for her resilience. 5. Inner conflict. Despite overwhelming backing, critical voices emerged. Is she being too rigid? A single wedding doesn't dictate life. Bella read these remarks feeling a flicker of doubt. Was I too extreme? She smiled softly, replying inwardly, "These are my boundaries. If someone can't accept that, they're not my audience." 6. Emotional integration and lessons learned. Bella recognized that the fallout went beyond a canceled ceremony. It revealed the true colors of family, friends, and colleagues. Some offered unconditional love, others judgment, and a few continued to sow doubt. Above all, she gleaned two truths. The power of personal boundaries. Clear limits allow for healthier relationships. The strength of community. When needed, she could lean on people willing to listen and support. In the weeks that followed, Bella accepted every social invitation, coffee dates with friends, the InnovateX offsite weekend, and even a workshop titled Building Healthy Boundaries by a local mental health nonprofit. Each experience reinforced her decision, grounding her spirit like never before. After the initial whirlwind of responses, Bella took control of the narrative. She scheduled a family meeting at Blue Door Cafe, the spot where Mrs. Martinez once taught her how to make tamales. Over steaming mugs, Bella shared, "Mom, I know you worry, but I need you to honor the boundaries I've set." Mrs. Martinez nodded, tears welling. "You've taught me so much about self-love." Next, Bella invited Jack's younger sisters, Emma and Sophie, to her apartment, aiming to strengthen ties with those who loved Jack. Emma confided, "My daughter faced a similar loss. I understand your pain." Sophie smiled. "No matter what, you'll always have a support circle." With friends, Bella hosted a Sunday brunch and boundaries gathering. She prepared 10 cue cards on personal limits and asked each attendee to share. Former colleagues spoke about saying no when deadlines overwhelm her, and college friend demonstrated her 60-minute focus break strategy to curb anxiety. Laughter, shared stories, and understanding eyes replaced Bella's previous isolation, turning the brunch into a true healing moment. 1. Online community. Bella posted a short video from the brunch on Instagram with Potter, "Boundaries Matter." Views surged into the thousands, comments poured in. "Thank you for the inspiration. Boundaries truly are life-changing." 2. Lasting impact. On the Martinez family, Mrs. Martinez began sharing Bella's boundary story at her local women's group, inspiring many women to set limits of their own. On the Roberts family, Jack reported that his parents attended InnovateX's town hall and gained a deeper respect for personal boundaries. On her friends, Min launched a Boundary Buddies group where members held each other accountable when anyone's limits were being tested. 3. Bella's next chapter. At month's end, Bella joined Mentor Her, a volunteer program guiding young women in self-advocacy and life planning. She realized her journey wasn't just about her own healing, but about empowering others to protect their well-being and to dare to choose themselves first. After 2 tumultuous months, Isabella, now embracing the name Bella, began a deeper healing journey than ever before. Each morning she rose to a 10-minute meditation, gazed into the mirror, and affirmed, "I deserve peace." Simple words, yet for Bella, the cornerstone of every day free from the shadows of the past. Body awareness. Bella enrolled in Dawn Yoga at the neighborhood studio. There she tuned into her breath, felt each heartbeat, and gradually released pent-up tension. She learned to unclench her collarbones and let the stress dissolve with each exhale. Mindfulness taught her that past wounds reside only in memory, not destiny. Creative therapy. To dialogue with her inner hurt, Bella joined an art therapy class. Each canvas served as an unspoken diary entry, pale red for anger, deep blue for sorrow, and golden accents for hope. Upon completing Heart Fortress, she realized she'd etched in her own resilience and unlocked a new gate forward. Healing journaling. Each night, Bella spent 20 minutes writing 3 gratitudes. Min called me today. Jack's apple pie was perfect. My brunch on boundaries worked. She also noted lingering fears, then crossed them out. This ritual didn't just relieve stress. It converted pain into positive action, refusing to let it dominate. Building a support network. Bella maintained weekly meetups with close friends Minlan and An. They not only listened but offered solutions whenever anxiety struck. Bella could call them. If she felt overwhelmed, they had a designated emergency walk spot. She was never alone. Pursuing new goals. A budding passion for sprint running grew in Bella. She registered for the city sprint 5K 2 months out, not for competition, but as a symbol that she could keep moving even after stumbling. Each training session she logged her times and felt freedom's warmth flood her steps. Practicing self-compassion, Bella began her days affirming, "I allow myself to be vulnerable." When fatigue set in, she paused work for a favorite song or a cup of herbal tea. This prevented her from confining herself to professional or relational expectations, keeping her connected to her own needs. Through these steps, Bella discovered that rebuilding isn't linear, but like a labyrinth of unexpected turns. She still ached recalling that art class with Mia, and sometimes wondered if she lagged behind friends in stable marriages. But in each moment of doubt, she asked herself, "Did I respect my boundaries today?" Whenever the answer was yes, she pressed on. Joining healing communities. Bella joined a local meetup called Women Rising, where members shared hardship stories. At her first meeting, a young woman discussed losing a job to workplace harassment. Bella realized that while wounds vary, the path to healing is woven with shared empathy. She contributed her boundary work insights and heard back. "Your story gives me strength." Extending boundaries at work. At InnovateX, Bella proposed an email curfew policy: no emails outside business hours. Leadership approved a 3-month trial. Suddenly, she no longer felt tethered to her inbox, and teammates regained precious personal time. Authentic communication with Jack. The quiet between Bella and Jack wasn't devoid of tension. They still clashed when Jack missed a brunch and boundaries date, or when Bella's firmness hardened their dialogue. But they adopted a timeout rule, pausing arguments, then scheduling a calm discussion. Each cycle mended trust anew. Mentor her workshop. Bella finalized her first Mentor her workshop outline. She shared art therapy techniques, mindfulness routines, and the 3 before bed gratitude formula. Attendees responded enthusiastically, "I'm painting my emotions tonight." Bella was moved. Her trauma now catalyzed others' growth. Freedom Feast celebration. On the 6-month anniversary of her wedding cancellation, Bella hosted a freedom feast. Guests included the Martinez family Women Rising members, Innovate ex-colleagues, and friends. The menu featured Mrs. Martinez's tamales, Jack's apple pie, soft acoustic music, and zero forced advice. Glasses clinked to freedom, boundaries, and self-love, reflecting on the journey. At the feast's close, Bella stood before a reconstruction roadmap, yoga milestones, therapy, art mentor, her launch, and freedom feast. She placed her hand on the final marker, free and whole. A radiant smile lit her face. She whispered to herself, "These scars aren't shameful. They remind me of my resilience." Bella's reconstruction journey has no final destination. Yet each small step affirms that wounds do not define tomorrow. How we choose to walk forward does. After weathering a storm of events, Bella greets a new dawn with a transformed mindset. No longer shadowed by past traumas, she has evolved into someone who cherishes personal freedom and the power of boundaries. This final chapter synthesizes invaluable lessons and reveals a wide-open future of endless possibilities. 1. Lessons on personal boundaries. Boundaries. Empowerment. Bella discovered that her limits weren't icy barriers, but shields safeguarding her right to safety, respect, and growth. Calling off her wedding was not an act of destruction, but a declaration of self-sovereignty. Clear communication. Whether saying no to Mia, "I need time to Jack," or "I'm off the clock to Innovate X," Bella demonstrated the potency of direct language. Boundaries need not be dramatic, just unambiguous and consistent. Multi-layered limits. Boundaries extend beyond personal relationships to the workplace, social media, and even self-care, knowing when to rest, declining unhelpful invites, and prioritizing inner well-being. 2. Freedom paired with responsibility. Responsibility in freedom. Healing doesn't mean acting without restraint. True freedom arises from owning the consequences of one's choices, be it canceling a wedding or instituting an email curfew at Innovate X. Emotional independence. Bella no longer relied on others for happiness. Finding joy in yoga, art therapy, and her freedom feast showed she could nurture her own wellness. Continuous growth, love, and boundaries aren't destinations but ongoing journeys. Bella commits to updating her boundary manifesto annually, shaped by her evolving experiences and goals. 3. An open future, opportunities ahead. Expanding mentor her building on initial success, Bella plans to partner with universities to teach boundary-setting skills to students. Community startup. She envisions Boundaries Hub, an online platform where people share stories, tools, and strategies for self-protection. Publishing a book. Bella will pen Boundaries and Freedom, compiling her methods, case studies from Mentor Her, and practical exercises. 4. Applying lessons in daily life, morning check-in. Spend 5 minutes each morning writing one boundary to uphold, e.g., no emails after 7 p.m. Evening reflection. Before bed review adherence and note one self-praise. Community sharing. Join or start a small accountability group to remind each other when limits are crossed. 5. Bella's closing message. If you take away one truth from my story, know this. You have the right to say no, to safeguard your heart. You can release the past to embrace the future. And with every boundary you set, you lay the foundation for your own freedom. 6. Practical tools for boundary building. Personal boundary chart. Create a 3-column table. Situation, boundary, action if violated. Example: situation after hours coworker chat. Boundary: no work messages after 6 p.m. Action: reschedule discussion for next work day. Automation apps use: do not disturb modes, schedule auto replies outside office hours, or temporarily mute stress-inducing contacts. Buddy system. Pair up with a boundary buddy, a friend or coworker who checks in daily. Did you honor your boundary today? Digital limits. Set social media time caps, disable distracting group chats, and focus on deep work or face-to-face interactions. 7. Anticipating challenges and solutions. Always on culture. When the workplace demands constant availability, communicate your boundaries clearly to your team and demonstrate sustained productivity without overwork. Family pushback. If relatives view limits as coldness, share your feelings gently and emphasize how boundaries strengthen long-term bonds. Relationship fallout. Some connections may fade if boundaries are non-negotiable. Accept this as a necessary price and invest in relationships that respect your needs. 8. Setting long-term goals. Quarterly review. Each quarter, Bella revisits her boundary chart, marks successes, and refines any areas that slipped. Monthly workshops. Host online boundary building sessions featuring varied personal stories and expert tips. Milestone celebrations. Every year on her Freedom Feast anniversary, Bella organizes a cozy meetup to honor progress and strengthen community ties. 9. Community success stories. Min's turnaround. After attending the brunch, Min quit her toxic job and launched a successful bakery business thriving on work-life balance. Anne's family hack. Anne applied the 3 before bed gratitude ritual with her 8-year-old son, drastically reducing his exam stress. Hoa's Cafe. A Women Rising member founded Boundary Cafe in Hanoi, spreading self-care and assertiveness practices to hundreds of women. 10. Bella's final declaration: boundaries aren't walls of indifference. They are gateways to liberty. When you give yourself permission to say no, you claim the yes that truly matters. Embrace your freedom and remember, with each limit you uphold, you protect your most vital self.